Hello, 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 everyone. Hope you are all doing well today. Today was better than yesterday for you, and that you are celebrating the end of the work week and into your weekend. That you are hopefully getting some good vibes before the weekend hits, and whatever you have planned, I hope goes off without a hitch. I unfortunately am probably going to have to rewrite all of the plans that I had with my kid because it's going to rain again. Seems to be a pattern. Because I really want to take my son to the water park before we go. I'm sorry, I'm not flipping screens over here. At least will put me on the screen. Here we go. Hi. Hi. I haven't flipped over into game yet because I'm updating my add-ons and quickly going through all of the um getting all my self promo shit done. So that's why you see me looking left and right a lot. It's because I'm bouncing a bunch of different websites, posting my go live on Twitter and Blue Sky, and hitting the couple of Discords that allow self promotion and stuff like that to post that I'm live. I do have a couple of updates. Well, small updates. So I know that I have talked about before how late summer I wanted to go through and do ASMR. I am still doing that. I'm actually in the process of setting up a second channel for that and creating all the necessary accounts for that. Obviously, I have the YouTube channel already, which I need to get back and start posting stuff towards again. I think I figured out a way to do like a typing ASMR video that will show like my hands on stream and stuff like that. I just got to clean my desk a little bit. But I'm probably going to make like a short little like 10-minute video of that while I'm working on a little bit of short story or script writing or whatever it is that I am writing. You won't see what's on the monitor. It'll just be my camera angled down at my thing, and I'll probably have minimal lighting going on. So it'll be a dark video that's just my my keyboard and my hands, and I'm just typing away, working on whatever it is that I'm working on, and going from there. But I am getting close, I think, to getting set up to stream that. That will probably happen at this point. If it's not Labor Day weekend, it'll be the weekend after I get back from Orlando and BlizzCon happens. So, but the Discord will still be used for both channels at that point. I'll be setting up stuff for both things. So I've got a lot of work to do to set up the second channel, and get everything set up for it that I need to get set up for it, etc., 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 etc. So that is still something that is on the table. It is just going to be a little while before we get there, but it's probably going to be another month or so before we get there. It technically falls within the late summer window because fall doesn't start officially until September 20th. But we'll go from there. I've had a lot of people, a couple of people ask me about it quietly. A couple of people ask me if, I've met a few other ASM artists and have been talking to them and stuff, and they've been asking, is this something that I plan on doing? And I mean, I tell them, yeah, I am. It's just like, I wanted to see kind of what was happening with the YouTube thing for a while. Because of all the ASM artists getting struck down and stuff like that. And it turns out most of the ASM artists that I really enjoy and watch on YouTube have actually seen growth in their channels because of it, which is really cool. So it has made me a little less pensive about it. And so So we'll be hitting that. Prot Warrior video went up, although it went out late today. I try to always have my videos go out at like 9 a.m. my time. But last night I was just fighting myself so hard, my own head so hard, that I just couldn't find the energy to sit down and want to edit. I just was gaming and listening to a couple of streams and talking with a couple of people, just trying to like do everything I could to help my brain process it. I'll catch up on all the little redeems here in just a sec, I promise. But last night was really hard. I didn't sleep well last night either, so I just was very tired. And when I finally did go to sleep, I did actually sleep kind of hard when I fell asleep. It's just like it took a while to go to sleep. So that video went out at like 3 o'clock today, so it is out. So the full Warrior Guide videos are done. This weekend there are a couple of YouTube videos that'll be coming. I'll be recording after this I'll be doing a music analysis that'll actually show my IRL face. If you want to see what I look like IRL, you'll be able to see that on this video coming up on Sunday. I'm going to be doing an analysis of a video from the bass gang called The Sound of Silence that I promised my reaction community like weeks ago and never actually got around to doing because life and mental health and job interviews and new patch and all this other stuff. So I owe them that, so I'm going to give them that with the deepest apologies that I can give them. But because it's not a first-time reaction video, it's going to be different in that I'm just going to sit down and talk about the things that I think are cool, neat, and interesting on it, because I'd already seen it and then realized that the audio quality on it was so garbage that it was unusable. It was unusable, completely unusable footage. I could not edit it to save my life. To edit the audio just saved my life to get it to work. So I pinged them about that, and I was like, hey, do you still want me to do just a straight analysis? The answer is yes. And then a couple of them have also reached out and said, hey, or messaged me through different social channels and said, hey, like, you know, more content's coming. I've told that group, like, straight up, like, the music reaction content is weird for me because it kind of relies on other people putting out stuff. But then they also, as artists, they're very protective of their work. And not every artist a cappella group that I listen to somewhat frequently, is very kind about copyright stuff on YouTube. The guys that I listen to the most, folks that you'll see I react to a lot, the bass gang, they're pretty good about it because most of them are YouTube creators as well. They make money off their YouTube channels to supplement their income, so they understand, like, especially if they're reacting to something of like their friends' work, it's like they really understand the value of just like that video being demonetized because it's classified as copyright stuff. So they've always been really good about clearing that stuff with me and most reactors. Voiceplay, the other major group that I listen to, and Jeff, their bass singer, also very good about it usually as well. So they are that. But I've had a couple of acapella reaction groups that I do not even bother reacting to anymore because they refuse. They don't really like people reacting to their content, it feels like, because anytime you do, that video gets demonetized because they put out copyright strikes saying, hey, you're using our music for your monetary gain, and they don't like that, which is weird. And then the other one, their record label straight up just blocks any videos that are not put out by them. It is so bizarre. So that's why those videos have always been very narrow in scope with who I react to, and there's few and far between at this point because those are the only groups that I feel really motivated to react to and stuff like that. But I did have other reaction content that's happening. Speaking of, I have one that'll be out tomorrow that is me diving into my academic background passion, which is history. I'll mention this in the video, so you can probably skip through the intro of it, but if you weren't aware, I went to college for history. Like, that was my area of subject. I was a generalist, so I kind of studied a little bit of everything. I didn't specialize in anything because my goal was to be coming out of college, the initial thing I wanted to do was be a history teacher, whether it was at, my goal was probably going to start at like high school, teach high schools for a while. And if I could get on as and continue my degree, and if I could get on as with like a master's degree, or even potentially even go down the doctorate path and become like a full doctorate of history, I could eventually become, a university professor. Like, that was going to be the goal. After I graduated college, life demanded that I give up that passion and pursuits. but I've never stopped loving history. So the video that you'll see tomorrow that I'll react to, or that I'll be like pausing and talking about, is to historians. It's filmed in 2025. So, and I somehow didn't see it. I actually didn't know this channel existed, and now I'm like watching a bunch of their stuff. I'll be watching a bunch of their stuff most likely. But it's a video on two ancient historians doing like the agree, strongly disagree game, where they ask a question and they put something on a table or on a piece of cloth that says agree, strongly disagree, whatever, and then they argue their reasons why they do that. Or I don't even say argue, they debate their reasons why, or they talk about their reasons why they chose what they chose. Except they do it with ancient Greek theories, ancient world theory stuff. So, like, for example, there's even some stuff that involves like mythology, things of that nature. It's a very fun video with one of my favorite historians from the perspective of ancient world, Roelke Nijendijk. Dr. Roelke Nijendijk, who's amazing. So it's definitely like a video that's going to be very different from me, but you get to see, hopefully you see a little bit of a side of me that doesn't really get to be shown all that often, because I usually am mostly playing games and talking about music. But you can see like the history side of me. Which is something I am passionate about. Like when I'm going to be making a long drive, I'll be driving multiple hours to Orlando in September. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to queue up a couple of either history podcasts or history videos, and I'm going to and I'm going to listen to those while I'm driving 8 hours. All right, let me get caught up here. Conqueror, thank you for the check-in. Zandy for the lurk in the check-in. Hydrate, yes, sir, I will do that. Conqueror, 55 stream streak. I appreciate that. And Ewok checking in and lurking as well. I appreciate that a lot. Ewok, I don't know if you heard me yesterday, but I do appreciate that you sent me the 100 biddies before you left yesterday. I don't know if I was able to catch it before you had to go. So I appreciate that. I joked, I think he's like, you're single-handedly going to get me over to my my 1,000 bits goal. I think I'm at 600 or 700 right now or something like that. It's just kind of funny. So we're just going to do the campaign stuff on the Rogue, and then I'll see if I can do some M0s, I think. Yeah, I'll see if the guild needs help with anything M0 wise. Did not hear back from any of the positions that I applied for today, which I'm not completely surprised by. So hopefully it's just like, hey, it was a Friday thing. The one interview was only yesterday. She did say, give me it. That one I didn't expect to hear back from today. I fully expected to hear back on that one, not until next week, because she already said it's going to be a couple of days, because she had someone today that she was interviewing as well. So it did not surprise me at all that Oh, wait, I gotta talk to her. I'm interviewing for work. I've been unemployed for almost a year now. I got laid off in September of last year, and luckily I had a very deep reserve. I still have quite a bit left in that reserve, so I've been okay financially, which is why like I've been trying to like when I talk about like the financial aspect of my world, I always tell people like, look, I'm okay. That's why I've never been like one to like heavily beg for subs or anything like that, because like I don't need it to survive. I want people to give because they just want to give, not because they feel like they are obliged to give in order to help one person that lost his job go. I fully expected, like I lost in September, and like I kind of walked in knowing that I was like, hey, I'm going to be out of work probably through the end of the year because it was September. Like I know that companies in my area typically hire freeze in October. Because it's where I live, the winter is a very slow season for them, for most companies. So I was like, all right, I'll be through the rest of the year. Luckily, I had money saved up, stuff like that. So I thought it was going to be okay. I was going to have to use my reserves. I was like, all right, January, February, I'll be back. And I vastly, vastly underestimated how terrible the job market is. To the point that I have a spreadsheet where I will put in every single position that I apply for, because I want to make sure that I'm not applying for like the same job like 11 times. I am over 1,000 applications. I think I'm actually closer to 1,100. I haven't updated it because I kind of slightly gave up. But yeah, I think I'm at like 1,100 applications that I've submitted. Yeah, over 1,000. Definitely over 1,000, maybe over 1,100, but yeah, definitely over 1,000. And out of that, I've interviewed for 14 positions. And then of those 14, literally only one job has actually replied to me. And like when they eventually told me no, like only one of them actually, like when I was like, hey, what could I do? Like, you know, do you have any feedback on what I could do better? That way, like something else comes up, I can be okay. And like the only feedback they straight up had, they're like, no, you interviewed great. It's just you're too white collar for our blue collar industry. I'm gonna delay those ads until 6:45 my time. Yeah, it's a horrible job market. Like I am still in a lot of ways stunned by just how bad it is. But luckily I had a deep reserve. I don't talk about it a ton, just that I have always said I'm okay financially, but basically without giving too much away, there was enough in that reserve that I could basically live for almost 2 years without, you know, if I didn't spend like insanely luxuriously, which is not going to happen, frankly. Like I still want to provide trips and fun stuff for like my kid. I wanted to do stuff on my own, things like that. And then obviously I've been pursuing content in a way that I never really had the energy to before, because I was happy with work or whatever the case may be. So, but I've had 3 interviews in the last week. I'm waiting to hear. This past week I had 3 interviews. which people that kind of know, I've had a few people ask, like, you know, because they know that like I have some friends that I've given very generously to, and a lot of that's because I've been able to. But yeah, the job market has been terrible, and on some level, it's comforting to know that I'm not the only one. There we go. Because, like, I mean, we've seen it, like, obviously, like the video game industry has seen. I mean, Netflix just announced they closed 2 of their studios. Ewok is wishing you the best 100%. I appreciate that, Ewok. Yeah. Like, it'd be one thing, like, if all of a sudden content blew up for me and I was able to do this full time, I would probably just, like, get insurance through the ACA, even though right now it's fucking awful because thanks to the jerk in office about it, or the asshole in office, or I mean, I have a lot of negative things to say about the current administration, so we'll leave it at that. Canadian, don't worry, I have my opinion. No, I fundamentally disagreed with everything that they tried and probably are still trying to put your country through. Um, talking to my brother too. He's whispering me. Problems are always solved better as a team. You're correct in that, but like it's really funny. Like, you know, they're just kind of just flat out lying at this point, where they're like, oh yeah, this economy's, you know, wonderful, it's amazing, it's great, and like then like the jobs report comes out, and through, you know, at the end of this year will be basically 2 years that he's been in office, and he will have only created right now he's on pace to have only created something like 520,000 jobs in 2 years, which would be the lowest job number since 2009. And obviously that was the stock market crash. So the US is actually in a population decline, based off all of the studies and research that I've seen, at least. The birth rate is extremely down. Like it's down like 2%. Yeah. Like, I mean, the US is like, if you look at what's going on in Japan, like Japan's been dealing with this for a couple of years. It's now impacting the US as well. And how bad the economy is here has only sped it up. But like, you know, like I had surgery so that I can't have any more kids because when I got the surgery, I was 38 years old. I had a biological child. You know, in my mind, I have a daughter, a stepdaughter, through my ex's first marriage. And, right here, stacks. Have Randy Loker. I can put any community to heal as well. This one is also boxes, but likely won't be able to trade. But because it's gotten so expensive to just to have a baby, plus all the attacks on women's right to choose, which I vehemently disagree with, the attacks on even helping with preventative measures when it comes to that stuff, like there's like surveys out there, like I obviously am not going through it anymore. Like I made it so that I made the choice that I could get that, and most of the women, the health system in the US is completely broken. It works for, I would argue it works for no one, even the ultra rich. I mean, less so with the ultra rich because they can kind of just pay for it out of pocket and they don't bat an eye at it. But the system outside of like the uber rich doesn't work for anyone. I would love to have something more in line with Canada's systems or UK systems. Ideally, the one that I would love to kind of meet up with is Sweden and Switzerland systems, because their healthcare systems are very good. Like I would love to implement their systems, and like it's all fucking free and they just tax people for it. And like, you know, people are always like, oh, you know, if we had to pay for, like, if healthcare was free for everyone and we had to pay for it through taxes, like everything goes up in cost. And like someone debunked it. They're like, the average tax, like here's the tax brackets on, like someone was claiming like Denmark has like a 70% tax rate system, and then like, no, like even for people making unlimited money, their tax rate's like 50%. But that the bottom of that tax bracket is at like, I think like 3 or 4 million a year. So like, and the average income in Denmark is something converted to US dollars is something like 40,000. So like 90% of people, 99% of people would never actually hit the bracket where you're paying 50% of your taxes, or 50% of your income in taxes, but yet they somehow find a way to make it so that everyone can be covered. Like it just, initially I was like, when like certain politicians were always bantering about, you know, Medicare for all, basically. Initially I was kind of like, I would just really like to take the system that we have now and clean it up, because I mean, at the time I had stable income, I had stable job, you know, which means I had stable insurance, and it was a good policy, like admittedly a very good policy. But then I lost all of that, and you have to look at it from there. But yeah, but because it's expensive to have, you know, from a hospital perspective, it's expensive to have children. It's now expensive to just live in general, and adding, people are like, I worry about being able to add an extra mouth to that. Like, can I, you know, there are many people I straight up talk to. They're like, I can't give a child a life that I feel like I would be responsible to give them. You know, which is funny because I've said that about adopting an animal. Like my therapist is really been pushing for me to adopt a cat, and she's like, we'll make it your emotional support animal. You know, so like my rent can't be raised. And I'm sitting there going like, that's awesome, but like that only helps me on a small, very small space financially. It doesn't help the fact that like I still have to take that animal to the vet a lot. I'm now buying extra food. I have to get a litter box, and I have to go through the efforts of cleaning it and stuff like that. And like, I'll be honest, I'm not the greatest person at keeping my own shit clean. So like adding on taking care of that and going from there is fine. Like I would love to have a cat, don't get me wrong. I do want to have a pet. I just am in a position right now where I don't think I have the ability to do that. And like, part of me is also looking to get out of this apartment as soon as possible, which is why if the leasing agent position works out, like even the recruiter was like, you know, if you get hired on and you are interested in it, like they will have a conversation with you about making you part of their, you know, allowing you to live on the property, and you just get a discount for living there. And obviously that means you're living close to work, which means, you know, on the flip side, you know, you would be the person that would be put like on standby on call the most often because you're there versus, you know, someone that might live 45 minutes away being on call if an emergency happens. Them driving down there is dumb. So like you'd probably be your weekend on call person. If something happens, an emergency maintenance has to be done, and we need someone in the office to make phone calls and get that shit filled out. They said it's most likely going to be you. But you know, obviously, like he mentioned, I think he said at the one property, he doesn't know about the one that I'm hopefully going to interview at next week. But he said at the one that I had already interviewed at and didn't get, he was like, yeah, they give people, you know, their employees like a 40% discount off of rent, you know, which is, I mean, fucking huge. Like I pay like paying that number now, like would like if I got 40% off my current rent, like the savings per year, I could take a full-fledged like week-long vacation. It's too damn high, if we're being honest. It depends on where you live. Obviously, a place like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, St. Louis, Boston, with those being big cities, you know, it's a lot more expensive to live there, to where like a 900 square foot, like my brother was looking, you know, like he wants to go live in Chicago. Like he visited the city, absolutely fell in love with it, which, you know, shout outs to him for that. You know, and he works a job and potentially has like, and is very underpaid for his field, but he found a place that was like 900 square feet, so roughly the same size as my apartment, and it was going to cost him like $2,500 a month. And you know, he lives by himself. And now granted, the place that he looked at was also somewhat near downtown, closest to the river that runs through the city, and was also going to be like 10 floors up. Like it was high rise living. I think it was like $2,500 or something like that. But like I've been looking at places here, and like because I have a son, you know, my one non-negotiable demand is that I have to have a 2-bedroom place, right? Because like I need my bedroom, he needs his bedroom. Most 2-bedroom apartments around my area are like $1,500 a month. Pre-COVID prices. That's actually nice. They reevaluate my rent every year here, and my rent has gone up. You know, I've lived here almost 3 years, so from my initial lease, I got my rent. After the first year, it went up, and then this past November, because that's when my lease renewal is, it went up again. And it's gone up about $25 each time. Yeah, they don't do that here because real estate people basically don't have almost anything that truly prevents them from doing kind of whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, no, housing, like, I mean, there's some like obvious laws, like there's obviously like discrimination laws and stuff like that. Like you can't, you know, legally you cannot like say no to someone that to rent from them simply because of the color of their skin and stuff like that. Like that stuff is like very easy slam dunk wins. But in terms of like raising prices, handling maintenance stuff, like if my AC broke down right now where it's, you know, 95 degrees almost at minimum every single day, if my AC broke down and I submitted the maintenance request, they're technically under no obligation to actually send someone out and come fix it. They will, because they also like there's a public relations aspect to it, you know. And at some point, like if it gets to a point where it's like, hey, you're endangering lives because you don't want to pay to have the AC fixed, like they run that risk for sure. So a lot of times they will, but technically speaking, if they were like, you know, we will not supply maintenance to anything going on in your apartment, they are legally allowed to do that. And if I sign the contract, there's nothing that I can do about it. Which is one of the reasons why I think my current property leasing company doesn't really like me a lot, because I actually read my leasing agreement and I actually hold that shit account. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Because I actually will call them out on it. Like they wanted to give me a renter's policy. I already have renter's insurance, and like they refused, and I like sent them the policy. Can they increase the rent as much as they want, or when they get some guidelines? Technically speaking, it can be however much they want. They know that on some level, Jesus Christ, I need to fix that key binding in YouTube Studio. Technically, it can be whatever price they want, but they also know that if they raise it too much, that person's just going to leave. And if they try to keep the price at that point, when, like if I decided, like if they raised my rent, like, you know, doubled my rent right now, they took me from what I pay to say, like double it. Let's say it goes up to 2,000. Obviously I can't afford $2,000 a month in rent. Like, not by myself, right? So at that point I'd be like, nope, I'm out, I'm gone, I'm gonna leave. And I'd be, you know, responsible for finding new lodging. But what would happen is when they would list my apartment back on the market again, they wouldn't list it for 2,000. They would list it for, you know, 950 or whatever it actually kind of values out to. But the problem is that if they were like, hey, we're going to raise your rent to 2,000 a month, and I was like, you know, didn't do anything about it, or I, you know, didn't sign the agreement or whatever, or I signed the agreement or whatever, at that point, I'm kind of fucked. Like I signed the lease that said, hey, I'm going to pay 2,000 a month in rent. So they can technically raise the price to whatever they want. Just most property managers at the very least won't randomly raise the rent. But what they do is they try, like if they really want to do things in a way that is suspicious, they will do everything in their power within the confines of being protected legally to make your life hell. So for an example, like mine tried this with me and then I called them out on their bullshit. Here in Quebec, at least, they got no limit for increase the price only if the building is 5 years old or less. Otherwise, it must follow inflation expectation costs around 3 to 5% increase a year. Yeah, there's nothing in U.S. laws, state and most state laws. There might be some individual cities that do stuff, but nothing, as far as I know, federally that says that caps the rate that you can raise stuff. I mean, president of our country made his money off of inflating apartment prices. He's a real estate person and made his money. That's how he got rich. Like, let's be real. He's not going to do anything that stops his profession from potentially making money. So yeah, like I've had a friend of mine, I've had a couple of very deep conversations with, frankly, about the fact that, like, one of the things, like, she's jokingly talked about, like, wanting to do like a streamer house, and it would legitimately actually work if you would want to do it. But it's because, like, even she, you know, who has a decent job, is making good money to the point that she's doing some calculations now to figure out if she can go full time with it. Which, I mean, hell yeah for her. She can. But even she's like, I struggle to pay rent some days. Just because rents are just ridiculous here. And, you know, like I've got to submit a request here soon. I'll probably do that when I take my little stream break here, because I showered today and I like slipped a little bit. Like the soap slipped out, and so I went to go bend down to pick it up, and I stepped on it and slipped. I'm okay, luckily, but I plastered off of the wall of the shower, and then my other hand just instinctively grabbed the faucet, and when it grabbed the faucet, my hand went inside the faucet because the metal on it had gotten rusted out, and now there's holes in it. So I have to now call them and basically tell them, hey, this faucet's rusting out. It's, you know, it's going to start leaking everywhere when I try to, like, if I try to run water, like, luckily I very rarely will take a bath. My son now doesn't take baths anymore. He's embraced the showers finally. So, like, I turn it on and immediately turn on the shower. So, like, it doesn't matter. But, like, for example, if I wanted to run, like, water to, like, bleach the bottom of my tub, like, do a bleach water soak of my tub, it's probably going, that thing is probably going to shoot everywhere. So I got to submit the maintenance request for them. But before I do that, I have to, like, I know I'm going to have to deep clean that shower. Because what's going to happen is the maintenance man, my hands are fine. Yeah, nothing got hurt. I didn't get cut or anything like that. It was just like, you know, I dropped the soap. I kind of paid for it. And at the same time, discovered that their faucet of my tub is rusting out and needs to be replaced. But I know that before I submit that request, I have to go in there. I'm going to have to deep clean the shower, because what'll happen is the maintenance man, who, despite being an employee of the company, he's kind of a sycophant for the company. Because myself and others, when we've said, hey, this is like, when we submitted our maintenance request, he will actually, while he's here, he'll take a look at the rest of the property and report back to the property management company anything that he sees that is deemed a potential lease violation, which technically he's not supposed to do. Like, the toilet handle that you used to flush the toilet, like, straight up broke. The thing is, I could fix that if I wanted to. But I'm like, well, I pay an extra fee on top of my rent for the maintenance services, so I might as well use them. But what he did is when he was here and he fixed the, gave me a new toilet handle, he did what he was supposed to do. I got an email a couple of days later. Yeah, I pay extra for maintenance. It's part of, quote, the benefits package. So I have my flatline rent, and then initially it was like another $50 to cover a renter's insurance policy and what they call a benefits package, which covers maintenance. And this year they're working on trying to they're also making it so that they can repave the concrete, because we've had like big trucks, like a garbage truck comes through, it just has sunk the concrete so badly that like there's a veritable lake anytime it rains hard. So we, like, the collective apartment complex was like, yo, can we get like the road repaved? Like, what do we got to do that? Because like, other folks have kids that like play, and like they can't play for like 3 or 4 days because it takes that long for everything to drain. There's no drainage. So we're like, hey, can we look into this? And they were like, yeah, for sure. But what they decided to do that they weren't very clear on is they actually put the costs associated with raising the money to do that inside of a benefits package, which is supposed to be for maintenance, basically pays for the maintenance guy's salary and covers renter's insurance policies. Well, I have a renter's insurance policy that's cheaper and covers more than the one that they gave me. So I actually, like, every year I've had to do this every year. And it's one of the big reasons why I want to get the fuck away from this company and move into somewhere different. But every year I send them, like, when they send me my lease renewal, I send my renewed renter's insurance policy back to them. And I'm like, yo, I already have this renter's insurance policy. Like, you need to take the renter's policy off. And what they do is they just ignore my email. And what I'll do is I'll always give them 2 times. I'll give them 2 emails. I'll send a follow-up like 3 days later. And when they ignore that one, I physically drive up to the office. Like, I go out of my way to drive to the office, and I tell them I'm not leaving until I've talked to someone in property, because I sent you 2 emails that basically show that I already have a renter's insurance policy, and I'm asking you to remove this because guess what? I'm not legally required to keep your insurance policy. And I basically have to throw a fucking fit, to the point that last year, and I'm going to do it again this year because I'm not even going to give them the 2 emails. I'm just going to, if I end up having to stay here longer, I'm straight up just going to walk into their complex and tell them, you better not add this back onto my policy. Otherwise you're getting a lawsuit from me, because I've talked to a lawyer who was like, yeah, like, if you're sending them this and they're not doing anything about it, like, that is grounds for an abuse thing. So I had to walk in last year in November, like right before Thanksgiving. I literally had to take a day off from I was out of work at the time. The first year I had to take a day off from work. But like last year I literally woke up at like way fucking early and physically drove to the property management's office and basically told them, I said, you're going to remove this renter policy because it's like $30 for their renter's insurance policy. It's fucking dumb. I said, you're going to remove this renter's insurance policy because here's the copy of mine. Here's where it's valid. It's valid as of November 1, 2024 or 2025. And it's valid until November 1, 2026. And I said, if you do not remove this from my renter's contract and said, you and I are going to have a problem. And they were like, well, I don't know if we can actually do that. And I said, the fuck you can't. And I pulled out my lease agreement and I was like, here's the line where it says that I am not required to, that opting out of the insurance policy is, you know, something that I can do. And all it takes is, for me to inform the property management company and provide proof of, because I'm required to have renter's insurance. That's a state law of the state that I'm in. If you're renting, you're required to have renter's insurance. Now, a lot of property management companies have come to learn that they can charge a slightly higher premium for their renter's insurance policies. And it's not a big deal. Like, a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't have to worry about going and getting my own renter's insurance. So they're like, yeah, cool, not a big deal. And they will get renter's insurance. And a lot of the times, like, if there are some companies that are pretty good about it. I, however, am old enough that that I came from a time where insurance wasn't always offered. You still had to go out and get it on your own because property companies wouldn't offer it on their own. They didn't do anything with insurance company to do that. So I've always was taught and trained to get my own renter's insurance. So I did. And it's, you know, the current policy that I have covers more than what the property insurance company or the property management company's insurance covers. Has higher dollar thresholds and stuff like that. So I'm protected from more, and I pay like $18 less a month for it. You know, instead of paying $30, I'm paying like $12 or like $13. It's pretty damn good, despite the fact that I have issues with this particular insurance company. They're the best renter's insurance policy that I have out there right now. So actually, where's the new delve down here? It's not down here. Delve's out there. Cool. Okay. Let's go check out the new delve. Insurance is with the bank. Company landlord are required to provide and pay for any and all repair under law unless you're the ones damaging the property. Yeah, like the renter situation here is really fucked up because, I mean, for most people, renting is more expensive than buying. But the problem is that buying is so difficult right now because, generally speaking, there are housing shortages. It's not universal. And the thing is that in like cities in particular, it's even harder because, you know, you have these venture capitalists and private equity firms are buying up all these properties, like any new condos type stuff that's being built or whatever the case may be. Like any of that that's being built for the week is you know, it's not being handled by it. You know, they're not giving private owners a chance to get it because all these firms are just buying that shit up and then renting them out for ridiculous costs because they can. So it doesn't really help in cities, and in rural areas, you know, it's there. And then a lot of it too is just like housing costs are so ridiculous right now. Like even my parents are have kind of note, like they don't, like when my parents bought their house in 1998, they spent under 100,000 for it. Now they're about to pay it off, which I mean, good for them. But if they tried to sell their house right now, they could sell it for 4 times what they paid for it. When my ex-wife and I built our first house that we got right around the time we got married, we paid $160,000 for it. This is in 2013. We sold it for $300,000. The house that before I got divorced that my ex-wife and I were kind of building together, that we assembled and put together and stuff like that, was the initial cost was $375 after putting home proceeds and stuff like that. Obviously it's not what we ended up, or what she ended up paying, because we got to, separated at the time, so I let her keep it, because I was like, I want you to have I want you to be able to afford the roof that you're putting over our children's heads. I was living with my brothers at the time, so I was going to go live with my brothers at the time, so it didn't matter. But if she tried to, she obviously has to check on her taxes and got her property evaluated because it's a newer home. If she tried to walk out of that house and sell it right now, she spent, I think the final cost for her was like $215 or $250, something like that. If she walked out of that house right now and sold it, she could sell it for over $500,000. Like, just the cost of housing is just inflated so fucking bad. And then mortgage rates kind of suck right now in the US across the board. Like, I think the lowest rates that you're seeing right now are around 6%, which is pretty fucking bad. Having worked in the mortgage industry for a little while, I've seen when the rates get the lowest and then what happens when rates fly. So that's why the mortgage world has kind of been rough. People aren't buying. It's because most adults with buying power are people of my generation or slightly below my generation. Those are the most common home buyer ages. The other thing is none of us can afford that cost because homes are so expensive that they kind of that they just price people out. Especially the thing is they price solo buyers out of the market. Someone like me, or my one friend that I've been talking to about this in the past before, I've joked with her. I said the only way either one of us is going to be able to afford a home is if we moved in together. We didn't even have to be married. We just move in together. And we'd have to buy a home, quote unquote, as friends. And that would be the way that we would be able to afford to have a place of our own. And I've debated the idea of roommates before. I'll be honest about that. I have. But thing with me, because I have a son who's not of age, he's still pretty young, still very young, all things considered. I don't want to have to, I don't want to have roommates that maybe they have zero interest in putting up with kids, and all of a sudden, a bunch of weekends a month or every year, they've got this they've got this, you know, he's 9 now. I've been pretty open about that. I don't think that's doing anything to potentially dox or compromise safety or anything. He's 9 years old. Like, he's hard to be around if you're not already a parent, because he's also, you know, he's also autistic. He's very different to raise than the stepdaughter was at that age. You know, because like she ate everything. She was, you know, she could emotionally regulate herself for the most part. Like, she had focus problems. She was ADHD as all hell, but you know, given the family lineage of on both sides of her contributors, I'm not surprised by that. But once we figured that out and got her medicated so that she could focus in school and stuff, like, she flourished, you know, and like, you know, other than the normal kid stuff, like, you know, I don't know if anyone here has kids. If Orion's around, I know she would know, but like, other than normal kid stuff, where like, you know, they push your limits. They're gonna try to see what they can get away with, which, whatever, dog. I did the same thing, you know, like, and it's over the stupidest shit, right? Like, I remember distinctly one time my parents were like, you really need to wash your hair, or you had baseball practice, whatever, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I'd walk out and my hair would be bone dry. I'd wash my body, because like, it'd be very obvious very quickly if I was, you know, still smelling poorly from baseball practice and sweating. But like, they would know if I didn't wash my hair, and I'd still try to do it anyways. And my parents would look at me and be like, nah, fam, you get your ass back in there. You know, which, fair play. Let's be honest, fair play. But like, my son, he requires different stuff, and he's very different to take care of. He has aspects to him that most people fuck, whatever. But like, he's a very different kid to parent. You know, he's level 2 autistic. Like, he comes with his own challenges. Gotta be honest, he does. I love him to pieces. I would not trade him for the world. You know, if something were to happen to him, the Geneva Conventions are not going to save whoever the fuck it was that hurt him. Like, you know, there's going to be no saving you. Not just from me, but from the rest of his family as well. We all fiercely love that child. But he's a lot, and he can be a lot. And so, unless there's like someone that is kind of like already a parent, subjecting someone that, you know, like I said, maybe they don't have any interest in kids. So it's just really unfair to put them through that. So like, I kind of feel like I don't have a choice but to live alone unless I find a romantic partner that like understands what they're getting into. You know? And even then, like, I wouldn't want them to like deal with that right away. Like, You know, I've told this to my ex-wife, and I have talked about this because when she got her current boyfriend, like her and the boyfriend were together for a little bit before he started being consistently around kid. And I'm gonna do the same. Like, if I get together with someone, you're not meeting my kid potentially for up to 2 to 3 months. And it's not because I don't trust you around him. On some level, with someone new like that, I always have to extend a little bit of trust. Oh, I gotta clean out these mobs. I don't have a choice but to kill them. But it's just like, because I know how he is, I don't want him to attach to someone and like start to potentially think of them as stepmom or whatever, because he's a little bit like me. He has some anxious attachment, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we broke up, they're gone, because he's never really had to experience that. Like, yeah, mom and dad separated, but he was so young that it didn't really matter. Oh, I gotta kill these guys. That's fucked. Okay. So, like, you know, someone that I'm with, like, they gotta understand I'm somewhat of a package deal. Like, I talk about all the time that I'm a part-time parent, because reality I am, partly because of, you know, my life stuff, but at the same time, like, you know, he very much values his routine. So, like, he goes from, you know, riding, like this week, for example, he rode the bus to school every morning because he loves riding the bus. He loves riding the bus. And then on Monday and Friday, he rode the bus home. And then on the middle of the week, he went to his karate place for after school with them. So that's just the arrangement that is out there right now, and I'm perfectly down with that. Oh, Valeria, if you didn't throw the potions into the middle of goddamn nowhere, put them around me, babe, we wouldn't have this problem. Probably need to change my auto walk. I'm gonna do that. Let me change my auto walk. Let's change this to control middle mouse button. That way I don't accidentally switch up my VTuber model. The white-haired one you saw earlier was quite literally the default. Like, with no additions, no skins, that's what you see. You mean when I flashed you? Yeah. What was there? There's a clip I think I took of Kess. I don't know if I posted it in the Discord, but she did post it to her socials. I think it's on her YouTube Shorts. Of the clip where she hit a button and like it messed with her model too. That's kind of what I did with mine. I have no idea what's about to happen here. So yeah, I changed. It's because I tried to hit the. I have a keybind in game that I didn't think about. That's what I use for. But yeah, there's a keybind in game that I didn't think about until it actually happened because I was messing with some things in VTube Studio today. By the way, I don't know if you've seen the Miwok, but I've got the new redeem stuff. But yeah, like Guide the raid, what's that? So Guide the raid basically makes it so that if you want me to raid someone specific, redeem the points, and I will raid that person. Whether I follow them, know them, whether they're in the World of Warcraft channel or not, I will do that. I need to make it so it's only redeemable once. But yeah, that's basically the one. Like, if you have someone that you want me to raid, then you have the ability to kind of make me raid that person. Generally speaking, I'm okay with that one. It's one of Twitch's default ones. I could very easily remove it if I needed to. But I'm generally okay with that one because, like, I'm always down to essentially meet cool and new people, right? Like, legitimately half the ASMR community that I follow and that I talk to on a daily basis came from just networking and like ASMR artists rating other ASMR artists and stuff like that. So this just gives me gives a community member a chance. Like, if they want me to raid, like, they're watching me and they notice someone else that they really like is on, maybe I don't know about them, they can select that and tell me who that person is, and I'll raid into them at the end of my stream, assuming they're still going. Dog, what? Are you the last person? Please tell me you're the last person. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Oh, it's starting to go down quickly. Oh. Oh wait, treasure's over here. Sorry. We'll leave Twitch to go play some games with friends. Hope you have a good stream, Works. I appreciate that, Ewok. Thanks for the 100 biddies again, man. I appreciate that a lot. We're almost to that goal there. 800 out of 1,000 bits there. I appreciate you. Have fun. A ton of fun. And thanks for hanging out and chatting and talking with me tonight. hit rank 5 with them yet? Yes, I have. Good. Okay. We get over here. Goal, you said? Yeah, I have 1,000 goal to get to 1,000 bits. I have a. All right, you sneaky sneak. Thank you, Ewok, for the 200 bits. I will update all of my alerts eventually. I just haven't gotten a chance to get around to that yet. But we have now met the bits goal. I appreciate that, which means I need to update that. Probably just added another 1,000 or something. So thank you. Now go. Have fun with your friends. Saw it coming. I didn't want to hope. I'll be honest. I don't expect anyone to do anything for me. Let's be real. And next year, have fun. I appreciate that, Awok. You too. Slobbery tongue? What the heck? I've got some petrified root there. Okay. All right. Let's see what we have for sale. No jewel crafting patterns. Okay. She did a short one. Okay. That's fine. I'll go back and listen to it because I want to hear how that mic sounds. That's what I want. This is what I want. That right there. Cool. I can do it this way. I forgot. Still not used to being more north on this, because I used to be on this plot like down here, but in my old guild. But yeah, I have any Marl on this character. Don't. Let's transfer 1,000 over. Oh, I didn't even take Marl. I took Moxie. Shit. All right, I'll hold on to this just because, I mean, I'll come back to this character and do stuff probably over the weekend or whatever. There's where all my petrified root is at. Damn it. Okay. All right, ads are starting up in about 2 minutes for those that are not subscribed, just FYI. Oh, they already announced some class tuning. Let's look at it here, shall we? All right, Blood DK Sand Lane, decreased visceral strength. Transfusion increases dancing rune weapon damage by 5 instead of 10. Frost got a flat 9% aura bonus, and then a small nerf on their 2-piece bonus. Devour Demon Hunters, 4-piece performance slightly above expectations, so reducing its power to compensate for the set bonus reduction. We are increasing all ability damage. However, Devour has been overperforming mostly in single targets, so we're reducing the damage of Reap Call Eradicate while increasing the AoE damage portion of Eradicate to reduce the impact and the change in AoE combat. So it gets a 14% aura buff, with Reap Call Eradicate getting reduced by 12. So on that ability in that small net gain. Eradicate's area of effect damage increased to 90% of base damage instead of 85, and then the 4-piece bonus is only 2 soul fragments instead of 8. Damn, that's a big loss there. Restoration just getting a flat 20% damage increase and a 4% aura buff on healing. Beast Mastery Hunter is getting a buff to its 4-piece, which causes Cobra Shot now to benefit from Beast Cleave at 30% instead of 20% effectiveness. It strikes your target for an additional 20% instead of 15%. Oh, I'm also starting a new medication tonight. We swapped off my old one. To a new one to help with my ADHD. With the Disney Channel flow. We'll see. All right, back to patch notes. Venomous Abyss 4-piece. Okay. Mage, Arcane Mage. The Venomous Abyss set bonus is overperforming our target tuning for set bonuses. However, the amount we need to reduce its value by would be a greater impact than intended to Arcane overall damage, so they're making a small positive adjustments to Arcane's baseline. It's a small 3% aura buff, but they're nuking this tier set. Holy shit. Arcane missile damage bonus reduced to 5%, down from 20. And cumulative powers damage bonus stack is now 3% instead of 5%. Now, what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. Oh, God. What you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. Me, God. Me, the crew, and your friends will try to move your feet. God, I remember it. I know it. I don't have the words. I can't get them out. Fuck. Who did that song? I don't even remember. Yeah. Hip hop. Hip hop. You don't stop. The rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Yeah. God, their name is escaping me right now. Fuck me. Rapper's Delight, that's what it is. God, I can't believe that escaped me. All right, Mistweaver Monk gets an 8% aura buff, and the 4-piece activation rate got increased as well. Disc Priest, we're reducing Disc Priest damage done and offsetting this in Atonement to not affect the overall healing, as your damage has been overperforming compared to other healers. At the same time, they're increasing the damage. Fuck me, sorry. Exclamation point yawn, somebody. The damage of Entropic Rift. I am not that good to rap this thing. I cannot freestyle like that. Like, the closest thing to good, like, to rapping that I could probably do is Cardinal Officials section in Beautiful from Akon, which I would play on the stream and go, but my channel would probably get nuked from orbit halfway through it. But I've jokingly said that Akon's Beautiful would actually be my karaoke song if it's not a bass singer song, because I have a naturally lower range when I sing poorly. One day someone will get that 100k points and dump them into the bass singing, which I will do that on either on stream. I will definitely do that on stream. The thing about me though is that, like, if I've been talking a lot throughout the day or talking a lot during the stream, I'm going to promise you that singing is going to suck, because my voice, like, the thing with, like, for me for low notes is they were either activated like first thing in the morning or after I've done like specific warm-ups to like train my voice, because I've actually done that. I've done little, technically not safe for work, voice notes where I've actually warmed my voice up and then dropped the octave down like this so I can talk in sexy tones like this, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, or I drop it down, talk very soft like this, where it's breathy but deep and raspy. It puts strain in your voice, so I have to do these vocal warm-ups in order to do it. If I don't have those vocal warm-ups, then yeah, it's bad. Like right now, obviously my voice is, I'm sitting in my throat with my voice. Which I don't know why. It does this every now and then, where it makes my voice sound artificially deeper than what it actually is. My voice normally is a little bit higher than that. All right, so all damage reduced by 30%, but Entropic Rift gets a 20% buff, and Atonement is now 46 versus 32% of the healing. Holy, you're increasing Holy's throughput of Oracles so that I gotta figure out how to update my goal anyways. I was just looking over and saw that Ewok's fucking nuts. So that it can serve as a competitive option against Archon, increasing the mana regeneration and enlightenment to help their mana economy. So it's up to 25% faster instead of 10. Word of the Wise now increases healing of Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify by 40%. Damn. Raw Prognosis, this healing is increased by 50. These are big numbers for this hero talent tree. How bad was it? Preventative measures increases permanent healing by 40% versus 15%. That's crazy, dude. Assassination Rogue, just a flat 4% aura damage buff. Cool. That's the rogue spec I'm playing, so I'm down with that. Rogue is getting a 6% aura buff to compensate for the fact that they are nerfing their 4-piece down from 100% to 60%. Enhancement Shaman gets an damage buff. And then Demonology is getting a update to its bonus. So they're buffing the Wild Imps Implode at 350 versus 250, and then 315 to other targets versus 225. All right, Warrior. Wow, dude. Arms dodge the nerf. What the fuck? I'm just floored. Like, okay, Fury change, cool. Fury's 4-piece is currently overperforming, but Fury is in a good place overall, and we don't want to disrupt that, so we're moving some of the value out of the 4-piece into the baseline. Additionally, Slayer's been overperforming for both specs due to a bug causing Executioner to provide double value, which was recently hotfixed. This fix has brought Arm's overall performance down toward their intended range, but we're happy with where Fury has been. So their baseline damage has been increased below to compensate for this fix, as well as the set bonus change. So let's start with the set bonus change. Bloodthirst is getting 10% damage increase. Then during Recklessness, the Bloodthirst increases the critical strike bonus of Recklessness 3% up to 6% instead of 5 up to 10. So they just touch the 4-piece a little bit, and then just a flat 6% aura buff. And sure as shit, there's the Skyhold ping. Okay, that's just them posting the note that I literally just read. That's funny. And then they made some PvP changes. Let's see. That's it. All right. So some very, I think mostly stuff that would be classified as on the. I hearth back instead of using the. No, I did. I intended to hearth back. Sorry. No, Jesus. That's right. I already bought the got distracted by tuning notes. All right, can I make some Silver Moon health potions? How many can I make? Oh, I can make a bunch. Let's fucking go, boys. We're gonna slam a bunch of these down, and then what I'll probably do is consolidate all of my consolidate all of the health potions that I have, like on every character, and I'm just gonna make as many of these as I can so that I can get them over to I did do crafting this week on this character. Okay. Just gotta continue to get potion skill. And we made 17 there? Holy shit. That's fantastic. Got that multi-crafted proc twice. That's freaking hilarious. I need to upgrade my stuff on this character. All right, where's that? Okay, so let me check. I think my warrior has a bunch of the curse-bound globes that I bought from mining and stuff, so let me check him. Let's see these concentrated globes. Do I have it? Yeah, I have 16 of them. That'll work. And real quick, I want to go see. I imagine these are somewhat costly on the. $43 gold. Yes, not bad. Let's do 16. So I need 80. I want to get to 100. So I need 84. I'll spend 3,000 for that. That's fine. Dude, if I ever decide, I'll check my evoker. I don't think they need any of this, but if I decide to run a fucking shaman, like gear up my shaman again, like I got all sorts of shit for him right away. Kind of crazy. I'm too lazy to go over there, so we're gonna do it this way. Grab you. And that's where I put the. I must not have put the health potions in there. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, they're different color. Cool. All right. All right. Time to do the fun thing where I bounce characters for a little bit. We'll send all the health potions. Possibly a good ring? I don't know. Probably not. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I just stick in here. Oh, I can put the azure root in there. Actually, I don't know if I put the pork in there. I might find a way to put that in my hunter's room. Not an owl thing. That's the big thing. So let me look up some Death Evoker because I want to know what the fuck it is they're playing that has them apparently looking good. I don't know, man. It's like. I love that still to this day they put transmog options limited, even though battle myth is just a thing now. Okay. Now I got all those. Let's see how many of these we can make. Ochi, Sperry. Let's get some of these, some folks some good things. I'll shout them out all here in a smidge. But he has the 5 million. He has the wrong Brutosaur. Okay. Oh, I'm out of vials. No one, fuck me. Okay, sunglass vial. Let's do 1,000 of you. All right. While that's going on, or I guess not. I have to keep that shit open. Okay, that's annoying. Ordering food while I'm doing this. It's pretty bad when I basically have like a favorite order. I have like 3 of them. Let my friends know that I'm there for them, but not obviously paying attention too much. 72 divided by 2 is 60, no, 30, 36. So when I get to 36, that's when I'll stop. If I get to 36, rather. I don't know if I will. Multicrafting like that and popping 17 will do it. Get rid of some of these. Make a bunch to send over to let me turn the light on so the delivery guy can see my apartment. Okay, so 269. Nice. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So we're going to do... It's 100 to the warrior. And I'll do... So you have 169 left, so I'll do... 40 to the hunter. 40 to the rogue. Actually, I can do another 20 to each of these characters. And then I probably need to do some generic flask making. So warrior, and then 60 for the rogue and hunter, and that leaves 50 for this character, which is fine. But let me go back real quick and see. What I can do for flask making. Wild magic. Great dog. Wild magic. Oh, hell yeah. Let's pop 1,000 of those. Oh, save the fucking Lotus. That is huge. All right, so now I have 21 of these. So I'm going to send... Warriors got plenty, so I'm going to send 12 to the rogue. I'll keep 9 here. Now I need... Argent Leaf and Azurut. Azurut. Just buy 50 of these. I'll buy just 50 of these. Do is I'll send 8 to the hunter, and then I'll make 2 of these. Oh, I don't have any more corrupted coin stuff. That's fine. All right, now let me look at the build here. This is great talent build. Blah 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 blah. We're taking this again because we're not taking Cauterizing Flame. That's fun. Probably makes sense in raid, honestly. Oh, we're taking a leech again. That makes sense. Wait. Where's the talent point that we're moving? Get Unravel. Oh, we're taking the point out of Bokai. One, two, three. Good there. Grab Dragon Rage. We no longer need Azure Sweep. Well, I'm gonna hold on. I don't need Azure Sweep anymore because there we're taking Event Horizon for reduced Eternity Surge. Where's this point going? Oh, put it back in Honed Aggression. Okay, that makes sense. Alright. So minor changes to the raid build. Ding, 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 ding. Rin, tin, tin. We're putting a point there, so we got to pull it from somewhere. Oh, from Azure Suite. And while I'm here, let me check Prez. I was gonna say, wait, did Warriors already come back with another one? Nope, they just. Oh shit, are we playing Flame Shaper this fucking season? God damn it. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but whatever. I think it'll be fine. I just got to figure out how to play it, I guess, then. Missing a point. They want me to take time spiral. Where am I getting the point for it? What do you mean? One. Skip one. Take one. Oh, they're getting rid of Twin Guardian. That's fine. 1, 2, 3. Take 2 points there. Seedlings. Stasis. We are grabbing Call of Asera. Life Givers Flame. Inner Flame for sure. Interesting, we're not taking Dream Simulacrum. I'm gonna switch that out from my build personally. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, for raid, that's what you'll need. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna be petty as hell about. Food will be here in a couple minutes. It's nice. Hey. Map for this? That's weird. It'll be alright. Alright, preservation, mythic plus talent. Boop. Nothing changes over here, it looks like so far. Sleepwalk, I'll skip. I don't know why they want Sleepwalk. It's such a niche CC. I mean, it'll stop the target from casting, I guess. I don't know. I'll take Tailwind for now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. Same. They're saying do this with Life Centers. I prefer Draconic Instincts. I kind of want to mess with this build and see how it works. Get my food here first and then there's my food. BRB real quick. OMG, I got another packet that I've been waiting on for a while, actually. I bought some candles a while ago. Looks like they might have finally come in. I'll have to get some photos of all of this afterwards, and I'll stop playing with the. Oh, my candles came in. That gives me 4 candles now. But my plan is to burn a couple of these throughout my house. Hang on. I gotta get photos of this. Sorry. Try those out later. looks like WWE's been making fat jokes at Kevin Owens again. That's always fun. Fuck that. Well, I'll probably try this character, doing stuff with this character offline. Said rogue stuff tonight, so we're gonna do rogue stuff tonight. Ads are starting up shortly. Food in my stomach here because I am growling. Didn't get cut well. All right, let's see. Hang on. All right. They summoned me. That saves some time. Otherwise, I was gonna reply to something, but I can wait.
He's put up barriers to avoid any interruptions.
Zujara does not have much time. I will scout ahead. Bring down the barriers, champion.
The barrier is weakening. Just a few more.
Turns out when you don't open her effectively, it shows.
One step closer.
hold off on so I can get the full combo. He might be dead by then, but it's fine. Not worth it.
Thank the light you were not devoured.
There's a path to the altar, to the snake tunnel. Come with me. Uletek's influence is evolving these creatures. The children of Uletek infuse these eggs with her venom to transform them into these abominations. They even consume each other when given a chance. None were successful in consuming this one. The goddess stands with us.
The backwards should have death marked first and then Kingsbane.
They attack as one.
got the stealth off just in time. Wasn't efficient there with my combo points and such. Save my cooldowns.
You think you can stop me? I'd like to see you try. Olatek's power is nearly at hand. You won't stop me. Amani blades cut deep.
Sorry, I'm thinking. So I don't have muscle memory on this character yet.
Don't you see? Olatek's fan. It is the key to our future. I will cut you down. Olatek's power is it will save Yaman. It will save us all.
No loot. It's fine.
I answer to the light.
Oh, it's an int dagger. All right. Spawn a bigger North Mount on the Ruby Life Pools dungeon. That's worth. Will likely have had the RLP. Notifications on Discord. They bother me when I'm I'm one of those people that, like, when I get pinged, like if I just have unread messages, like that's one thing, but when I get like ping notified, like there's a part of me that's like I have to check, even though like I know roughly like 80% of the time, most of the time. Well, I won't say 80%. It's probably closer to 50 now these days. Roughly 50% of the time. It's not important.
Alex Raza charged us with protecting the life pools from the primalists. I pray they have not infiltrated too deeply. Ensure the eggs are safe and eliminate any threat on these sacred grounds. Protect Melidrusa. She must continue her work. Allow them no further.
My allies sacrificed themselves so that I could return these eggs to their natural state. I will not fail.
Dude seems correlation, and he's not the causation of good feelings for me right now. He's pulling made him to be like more.
I need your strength, little one.
But my funnel. It's not fitting what I'm looking for right now. There we go.
Good work, champion. Now that you have secured the pools below, I require your aid above. The exposed life pools are in grave danger. A powerful primalist is attempting to burn all the nesting areas. You must clear them to get to her. I will keep watch from above while I confront the dragon.
Oh, you do it. cooldowns as aggressively. I need to fix that.
Keep clearing them out. Do not let the Primalists desecrate this hallowed space.
Can cloak that. That's good to know.
You are almost to the master of these minions. Hurry onwards, champion.
Wait, I didn't know why our tank's playing bibbity bobbity with it. It's getting blown up. Saving cooldowns for the boss. I have a feeling the boss is gonna be a little bit of a shit show. That cloak drops a lot. cloak though.
Your false queen cannot stop us. We are the truth. Hakat, deal with these operations. My pleasure. Take off.
I guess right on the things. These guys aren't gonna put these anywhere where they need to. All right, couple more there. Burn a little longer so that the candle's valleying a little bit, so I need to let it burn all the way to the edge a little bit more. think I'll have Ruby Life pools. I don't think I'll have Saphirless. I won't have King's Rest because I wasn't serious about doing keys. I'll have one of the 8 portals coming out of the season. If I recall correctly, this is where the key itself is going to start. So we're going to actually start there. Refill the water. There's summoning the mage, so I take a sec to put away my food. So I can grab dessert. Oh, that was a scratch on my screen. It was a branch on the ground. Oops. Cloak that. Banish that. Here's where he's thinking he's gonna get this last one from. If you're gonna go chase this one, you might as well have gotten the bush. Would have been much easier. Think. Probably make this the last one that I stream at least. Gonna cut it a little short tonight just because energy's a little bit low. Depression's been hitting. I know I haven't been very entertaining tonight, and I apologize for that. Feels like a very pointless cut around to do. Cloak that. That's good to know. Probably refresh that Rapture a little early. Yep, I don't know what to do. It's okay. Everyone's got a soak. It's a hell of a way to end the night, huh? We're not gonna raid out tonight, just FYI. We're just gonna end when we end. Fucked up my combo point generation there, but whatever. Double 1,000 gold repair bill. Oh, Orion's on. Cool. It's like 5 streams that I've got to watch, man. Fire that off. Wear that. All right. We're going to go ahead and end stream there tonight. Let me close the music here. I appreciate everyone for hanging out with me today. Videos are up on the YouTube channel if you're into warrior guides. Those are out. I will have some non-Warcraft videos coming out this weekend. And then as far as the schedule goes, I'm going to go ahead and take Monday off so that I can work on some other videos, make those content, make Sunday night and Monday content days, Monday evening content days. So we'll be looking at that. And then we'll be back Tuesday with the season. Now, one thing I will mention is that during the raid streams in particular, I probably won't be nearly as chatty because I am on trial and I want to focus and make sure that I'm doing the right things for my trial. So if I'm not as chatty, that's going to be the reason why. It's because I'm focusing on the raid and making sure that I'm hitting all the marks that I need to hit so that I can start making those initial impressions and stuff like that with the new guild. But I appreciate everyone for hanging out with me this week. It's been a busy week, obviously, with the new patch coming through. Still been busy, and it's going to be busy the next couple of weeks with everything going on and all the videos. I still have 11 videos to go. technically more than that. It's closer to like 15 that I'm going to be making and trying to post over the next rest of the month and into September. So, but I appreciate everyone for hanging out with me. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all next week.